So how long did that take?
We've been doing them, I think it's just about 14 months now.
Okay. So it's quite a lot of stones.
It is indeed when it's put together. It's probably more than that. That's just the ones that have sent us in their measurements as well. So it might even add up to more than that.
Well, if you, if you want to, you might want to become a fitness instructor. You might want to ask Alice what's involved in it. You might actually want to be part and parcel of the boot camps and part of Pyramid Services. You might want to get fit and eat well. Give us a call, 01628 488 975. You can also email on studio@marlowfm.co.uk. So, Alice, when did this burning passion take you over? At what point, you kind of, I think you went from one form of work into working in the fitness or the leisure environment, didn't you?
Yep. So it was about 10 years ago now. I'd got to a point in my life, I'd actually already done my exercise to music qualification and then really didn't do much with it. I was stuck in jobs that I didn't really enjoy, in sales jobs, and it just got to a particular situation at work where I just thought there's got to be more to life than this. There's got to be, there's got to be something else than going into work, not enjoying it every day. So I actually took quite a drastic measure. And I handed in my notice, and I didn't have anything to go to, so I really challenged myself.
That's pretty brave.
Yep, against the advice of other people. But something was telling me that I was going to be okay, and something was telling me, this is the right thing to do. So I did that. Because I was in a sales job, they actually let me go there and then. They said, there's no point staying, doing your 4 weeks notice, so thank you very much, goodbye. So that day I actually went to temping agencies, got myself registered at the temping agency. I think this was a Thursday. On the Monday, I went in and lady at the temping agency got me actually working there for a day because she needed some cover. But I think by the next day, a job would come up as a PA at a company. Now, I'd never done PA work at all, but she said, no, go in. They'll really love you. They'll love you there. I think that was due to be for 2 weeks. Now, in the meantime, a job had come up at a local gym, and I thought, right, I'm going to go for it. So I applied for it, had interviews, and actually got the job. So I then started working there, I think, about 2 weeks later, so it was at the end of my notice period, and started working there. Really haven't looked back, so it was the best thing that I'd ever done. The only thing that I do regret is that I hadn't done it sooner, but I guess things happen for a reason.
But you at least by this time you'd actually got into the place you wanted to work, the environment.
Yeah, exactly. And so
and how long, what was the journey then? How long was the journey from there to when you kicked off on your own?
Ooh, it was about 8 years. It took me about 8 years full time, actually. Again, looking back, I should have done it sooner, but you always have that nagging little doubt. You always think, go through the what if scenarios, and being in employment is obviously, a fairly safe place to be. You can never guarantee anything these days, but it's obviously, a safe place to be in terms of what you've got coming in. You've got bills to pay.
Sure.
But I think probably after about 5-6 years, I was like, okay, I definitely know what I want to do, but it's just how I go about getting there. Didn't really know anything about business. I don't think I really knew anybody that was running their own business at that particular time. So what I did, I actually started 5 years ago teaching a couple of classes a week. It was more as a hobby, really. So at that time, Pyramid Health and Fitness didn't actually exist.
Sure.
It was just a couple of classes that I started teaching.
But just going back a little bit, I mean, what you've gone through here is you ticked all the boxes at school. You gone to university, you done all that stuff, ended up doing jobs you weren't terribly keen on.
Yeah.
And it took you, 8 years or so to get into the industry you wanted to?
It took me a long time.
Because there's something that comes out of that, which I think, we all underrate sometimes. And it's kind of patience, isn't it? And dogging on until you get the right thing. Yeah,
I think sometimes, like you say, at school, a lot of people don't know what they want to do. And it is trial and error. And I think, off air, I said to you, I think a lot of people get stuck in a rut, and they might get stuck in jobs that they don't particularly enjoy, but it's a job and they're there doing it and it pays the bills, but they've always got this yearning to be doing something else. And in the past someone's said to me, what would you like to be doing? And I think at the time there I said, I'd like to run my own business. And he's like, well, go for it then. And you sort of always put up these, oh well, I can't do this. And he kept coming back and sort of saying, you want to do it, go for it. And at the time you think, oh no, I can't do that. And you're putting up all these excuses. And I think it's until you actually start doing it that you realise, actually, I could have done it. And, I could have done it sooner.
Did you get one of these moments where you thought, well, I'm quite enjoying doing this, but left to my own devices, I could do it better? Is that what you felt?
Not even that, I think, because I'm obviously doing things slightly differently. Where I was before, I was working in a gym, so it's a different environment.
Yeah, okay.
Although it's still in the same industry, it is slightly different. But I think it was, I had that determination, I had that drive. Like I say, I probably should have done it sooner, and looking back, I wish I had. But then I believe, timing and things do happen for a reason. So it may not have been the time before then. But I mean, I can safely say that, having done it, I don't have any regrets whatsoever. It's the best decision I've ever made.
Sure.
I absolutely love running my own business. It's, it's not without its hard times. It's not without its headache.
But it's still like sort of diving off the high board, isn't it, at some point?
Absolutely, totally. And, a lot of days are still like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. It's, I've made big mistakes. I've learned from those mistakes. You do, I think, like I said to you before, you have to have a real drive and passion if you want to run your own business. I think the other quality, you need to be need to be prepared to work very, very hard. And, I'm probably working harder than I've ever done in my life over the last 2 years. It is 24/7, so even if I'm not physically working, my brain will be ticking over. I'm constantly thinking of things. And I think, it does become quite hard sometimes to switch off. I do try and allow myself to, but because it's your business and it's your baby, I think, it is difficult to cut yourself away from it sometimes.
But the other thing I think you did, tell me if I've got this wrong, but the other thing I think you did, which I thought was quite canny, is you did this part-time. You were still working.
Yeah.
So there's a kind of lesson in that you don't actually need it. I'm sure it took money, but you don't need a big bucket full of money, do you? You can actually get into business, do something on your own. If you choose the right kind of business and it's bringing money in while you're doing it, you can start. Would it be fair to say modestly? I mean,
definitely.
Not in terms of your personal energy. It probably was exhausting, but
it was, because I was still working full time. I was very lucky because the hours that I was working allowed me to actually fit around and start building up on my own. And I think, for me, that was a fantastic way of doing it, because it allowed me to see, well, actually, okay, people are liking my classes. They're responding to it. I'm building up a client base. I'm loving what I'm doing. It allowed me to make mistakes and put on classes that, okay, may not have been very well attended, and think, okay, look at that and maybe change things slightly. I was working in a full-time job. I then actually went to leave, and then they we arranged it that I'd be there 10 hours a week. But then within 3 months of that, I realised I was actually getting too busy again. So
sure. So by that time, it was really
it was getting established. It was getting very busy.
Cut the umbilical cord.
Yeah, I did, and I mean that in itself was a huge step to take. And as I say, I think it was almost 2 years to the day. And it was really scary, because at the time I did it, I think a day after or so, they started talking about recession, and people are stopping spending.
I think this is a great example to people out there who might be thinking, it's a difficult environment, trying to get a job at the moment. There aren't that many around for some people.
No.
But this is a really interesting way about actually earning a living, isn't it? And having the determination and being able to do it because you've got a passion, because you've got the determination, without a massive amount of money, and making it a success. And it's a great role model for anybody out there who's just wondering what they might want to do. I'm going to play some music in a minute. I'm going to come back to this, but it just connects with another point, because I want to, I hope that some businesses out there are listening to us, and I hope those of you who do tune in enjoy the show. But if there's anybody out there running a business and they're employing people or about to take on new people, we'd love to hear from you. We'd like to keep some kind of running number on the BizBuzz of people who are taking, people who are employing people in Marlow and on the surrounding areas. We'd like to keep a running tally of it, and actually, send some good news out to people, because there are jobs out there and there are opportunities that you can create for yourself, the like of which Alice has created for herself. I'm going to play Suburbia from the Pet Shop Boys, and then we're going to come back and hear more about how Alice made this a success.